Hey everybody, this is Liz LePage, and I'm here today to do a short clip video for all of you about how to create a grungy sport look. So we're going to be taking this image here, and we're going to be turning it into this photo that you see here. So let me go ahead and show you how easy it is to make this look. First, we've got our original photo open inside Effects. On the right-hand side of the screen, we're going to go ahead and click Add Filter, and we're going to start out with the best filter for this kind of look, Grunge. So go ahead and click on that option there. It adds a little bit of a dark grittiness to your image, and this is a really good start. There's a couple basic controls here. The first is going to be the amount of grunge, which I'm actually going to push up quite a bit. The photo itself is getting a little too dark, and so the brightness slider can help lighten up some of those highlights just a little bit more. Now the saturation slider is one of the most important. A lot of times when you see those grungy sport look photos, they're highly desaturated. So this is a great place to go in and just desaturate that photo overall. So I'm going to go down quite a bit here. Now we're going to leave the detail alone because we're going to go in our next filter and add that. This is also a great place to add a glow to your highlights. That's not specifically the look that I'm going for, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the bottom part of our grunge filter alone. Now let's go back up and click on Add Filter. Now the next one is definitely one of our most popular filters, and it's perfect for this look, Dynamic Contrast. Now inside the Dynamic Contrast, we're going to go right into our detail section, and we've got our small, medium, and large detail sliders. Now, each one of these, I'm just going to pump up as much as I can. So the small filter, we're going to go up to maybe 15 or 20. We really want all those little tiny details to stand out. We're definitely going to push up that medium slider quite a bit, and the same goes for the large slider. Now, once we've gone through and we've added this dynamic contrast, one of the things that you might have noticed is that our background is starting to look really funky, and I want that background to be nice and soft. So this is a really great instance where creating a mask, especially using the quick mask tool, is really useful. So I'm going to go up to the top left-hand corner of our dynamic contrast filter and click this Add Mask button. On the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to choose my quick mask brush, and I'm just going to click and drag over our background. It's going to go through, it's going to create our mask for us, and it's going to remove all of that dynamic contrast from the background. Now, if you need to go in and refine some of those edges, you also have the Refine Brush tool. So these are a lot of the same masking tools that you should be used to using inside of layers. So I'm going to go ahead and just take that Refine Brush, and the only area that I really see that needs a little bit of help is going to be right up near her hair. So I'm just going to click and drag that to make sure that it leaves the background alone and her hair is still nice and crisp. Now, the other thing that's really great inside Dynamic Contrast, and I'm going to go ahead and do this, is because we just have our subject selected here, I'm going to pump up the whites to add a little bit more intensity to the highlights on her skin. So I'll go ahead and just move that white slider over to the right. It's going to make some of those stand out just a little bit more. And then if you want to add even more contrast to her overall, you can also go down and take those blacks and move them to the left a little bit. Because we have her separated here, this is a really great time to add selective contrast. The last filter that we're going to add is going to be our bleach bypass, and this is the best way to finish off the look. It's going to add the best contrast ever, and I'll also show you one of my favorite little tricks. So we'll go ahead and click on bleach bypass here. Already, this is looking way closer to what we want. The normal default preset for bleach bypass is perfect. I love it. If you want to increase that intensity, that bypass contrast that it creates, take that amount slider and move it over to the right, and you'll see you get even more of a dramatic look. Now, my favorite little secret about the bleach bypass is adding a tint to your photo, and that's how I got that warm tone on that final image. So down at the bottom, we'll go ahead and take our tint slider, and I'm going to start out just by moving it over to the right a little bit. We'll go to about 15. Now the color isn't quite right. You can change that by clicking on the color icon to the right here. Now right now it's kind of like a dull sepia tone, and that's not what I'm looking for. There are a lot of different color options that'll make these photos look really cool. One of my favorites is kind of a teal color. I think this gives it kind of a futuristic look. The one that I was using is more of a soft, subtle, warm tone. It's not quite as intense as the one that we saw at the beginning. Not much of a tint, but just enough to add a little bit of warmth to that photo to give it that kind of cool, edgy look. So once we're done, we'll go ahead and click OK. And now you can take a look at our finished sport look photo. This is what we started out with. And this is what we ended up with 3 really quick, easily adjustable filters.